All right, guys, just getting the final setup going. Welcome to another game night where I host and keep score, and you play them. Already starting with the technical difficulty. That's rough. We'll be starting soon, making sure everything's working. Perfect, there we go. Alright, I think we're pretty good. Oh, we already got so many people in. Hey. Baronator, happy birthday. No problem. Luke to Duke. Oh, awesome. Happy to hear that you're streaming too, dude. That's awesome. Baronator, I have a birthday song for everybody who comes on the stream on their birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. You don't get an extra point, but happy birthday to you. All right, guys, let's kick this off. We're going to play Guess That Balloon. This is a live game show where I host and keep score while you play by commenting. The rules for Guess That Balloon are each player only has 2 guesses to correctly guess what I am making. Hey, David, welcome back. Sword, that was your first guess. You're welcome, Baronator. Awesome, good to know. I'll have to check it out. What do you stream? Hey, Bronny. All right, guys, first person to correctly guess that balloon will get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 2 guesses per player. Gun would be correct. Game. Are you game? Awesome. Gun would be correct. All right. That is up. Let me see who the first person who said gun was. Looks like Luke to Duke. I gotta add Luke to Duke to the scoreboard. We have a new game to try out today. Luke to Duke, welcome to the scoreboard. Since you're a former champion, you are being entered as pink. And continuing on to another round of Guess That Balloon. The first person to correctly guess what I am making within 2 guesses will get a point on the scoreboard. And guys, if you like any of the games or the props on this show, there are affiliate links in the description. I do get a little bit of commission at no extra cost to you. Fun way you can support the channel. All right, live game show. I host and keep score. You play. I'm first person to correctly guess what I am making. We're going to point to you on the scoreboard. Hey, Trinity, welcome back. Welcome back, Trinity. All right, guys, this is an easy one. David. Got it. It is a dog. It is a dog. David, let me go ahead and add you to the scoreboard for today. Welcome back, David, and welcome to the scoreboard. David, it looks like you're currently in the lead for entering the Hall of Champions. And we're going to play another round of Guess That Balloon. The first person to correctly guess what I am making will get a point on the scoreboard. Only 2 guesses are allowed per player, per balloon. Hey, Maniac, welcome to the internet. It's a live game show where I host and keep score, and you play by commenting. First person to correctly guess what I'm making will get a point on the scoreboard. Anybody can play. It is a turtle. Turtle is correct. Who's the first person on my screen to say turtle? First person on my screen to say turtle would be Dovid. Dovid, you're currently in the lead with 2 points for entering the Hall of Champions. One more round of Guess That Balloon before we switch on to the next game. 2 guesses per players. 2 guesses per player. How's everyone doing today? Middle of the week, Wednesday. Good, awesome. First person to correctly guess what I made will get a point on the scoreboard. B is correct. That is a point for Long Day as an Electrician. I'm sure that is a point for Luke the Duke. Luke the Duke, you're at 2. Dovid, you're at 2. All right, we're going to play a few rounds of Blurt. Blurt is where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person to tell me the correct word for either definition will get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 2 points can be handed out to the players. The first definition: to shout or cry out loudly. The second definition: a small, flat piece of plastic, metal, or bone for plucking the strings of a guitar or other instrument. Yell would be correct. That is a point for Luke the Duke. Pick would also be correct. That is a point for... Who's the first person to say pick? Luke the Duke. Luke the Duke, you're at 4, but you're a former champion, so Dovid is currently in the lead for entering the Hall of Champions. Moving on to another round of Blurt, a fan favorite. Blurt is where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person to tell me the correct word for either definition will get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 2 points can be handed out to the players. Welcome, Len Boy. This is a live game show where I host and keep score. You play by commenting. Moving on to a round of Blurt, the first person to tell me the correct word for either definition gets a point. Up to 2 points can be handed out to the players. The first definition: an animal that looks like a rabbit but is larger and has longer ears. The second definition: a small, feathered ball used in badminton. Hare would be correct. And shuttlecock would be correct. Luke the Duke, I see you had a typo. I do accept typos. Luke the Duke said hare first, and Dovid said shuttlecock first, so that's a point for both of you. Luke the Duke, you're at 5. Dovid, you're at 3. Continuing on to another round of Blurt, where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person, have a good one, Len Boy. The first person to correctly tell me the correct word for either definition will get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 2 points can be handed out to the players. The first definition: the part of the body containing the brain, eyes, ears, nose, and mouth. The second definition: a covering for the head, often having a crown and a brim. Head would be correct. The point for Luke the Duke, you're at 6. Well, if you're joking, welcome to play. And hat would be correct. First person on my screen who said hat would be Brawny. I gotta add Brawny to the scoreboard. He's a former champion, returning champion. Brawny, welcome to the scoreboard. Let me give you your point. All right, guys, we are going to play one more round of Blurt and then switch it up. Hey, Matt, welcome. Blurt is where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person to tell me the correct word for either definition will get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 2 points can be handed out to the players. The first definition: a swinging bed made of rope or strong fabric that is hung between 2 supports. The second definition: a magic spirit in Arab folklore. Hammock is correct. As a point for Brawny. Matt, you were a close second on my screen, but Brawny had it right before you. Did anyone get the second one yet? Ooh, nobody has it yet. Oh, there we go. It was Jeannie. Jeannie was correct. I'm going to go back and see who was the first person who said Jeannie. Got to keep it fair. That looks like it was Luke to Duke. Luke to Duke, you're at 7. Continuing on, we're going to play another game. We're going to switch up the game a little bit. Hey, Richard Green, welcome back. We're going to play a round of Tribond. Tribond is where the first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. 1 point can be handed out. First person to tell me what grade, elementary, and high have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Grade, elementary, and high. School is correct there. Schools has a point for Javier. Javier, welcome to the scoreboard. You are also a former champion returning. So you're going in as red. So far, David is in the lead for entering the Hall of Champions. 1 person enters the Hall of Champions every single stream. We have 2 streams today. You are correct, Matt. They are words. You're not wrong. We're just going for a little bit more specific. I will agree with you. They are words. Moving on to another round of Tribond. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. A pizza, a pie, the earth. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common gets a point on the scoreboard. A pizza, a pie, the earth. Crust is correct. They all have crust. That is a point for Luke to Duke. Moving on to another round of Tribond. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Andrew, Hugo, Gilbert. This one, hey, Anissa, welcome back. Welcome back, Anissa. First person to tell me what Andrew, Hugo, and Gilbert have in common. They are names, but it's not specific enough. This one might be tricky. This one might be tricky. Andrew, Hugo, Gilbert. Hola, Anissa. Hola, amiga. I just recently had to get back into studying Spanish for my move. All right, I'm going to put 10 seconds on the clock after I read it one more time. The first person telling me what Andrew, Hugo, and Gilbert have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Doesn't look like anyone has it. That one, I thought that one would be a tricky one. That's what Siri gave you. The answer is hurricanes. They are the names of hurricanes. I realize that one might be U.S. specific, although I'm actually not familiar with any of those hurricanes in the U.S. So, moving on to another round of Tribond. I do try not to do any U.S. specific ones, but I wasn't familiar with any of those hurricane names. So, also live in the Midwest where we don't get those. Now, continuing on to another round of Tribond. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Double decker, open face, hero. Florida woman, welcome to the live game show where I host and keep score. You play by commenting. Whoever just subbed, this fireworks for you. Yeah, I was not familiar with those. Oh, sandwich is the correct answer. They're types of sandwiches. First person on my screen who said sandwich would be Javier. Floridian here, and I don't either. Yeah, I did not recognize any of those. I really thought that would be a tricky one. Who was the first person to say sandwich? That would be Javier. Moving on to another round of Tribond. Moving on to another round of Tribond. Whoever just subbed, this fireworks for you. Moving on to another round of Tribond. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Yard, chop, pogo. The first person to tell me what yard, chop, and pogo have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Stick is correct. Yard stick, chop stick, pogo stick. Stick would be correct, but it's a point for. Let me make sure my chat is on live chat. We use my screen as the tiebreaker. I can always pull it up per request. That would be Brawny. Brawny, you're at 3. Moving on to another round of Tribond, where I give you guys 3 things. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. That's okay, Matt. We played many different types of games on this channel, so if you don't like this one, stick around. There are a few more will be played on this channel in this stream. These streams are 2 hours long. Whoever gets the most points on the scoreboard is not entering the Hall of Champions. We'll enter the Hall of Champions. Okay. The first person to tell me what logwood, dogwood, and boxwood have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Awesome, Matt. We'll see you at another stream. I got one more tonight and hopefully 2 tomorrow. Tree is correct. These are types of trees. We're looking for the specific answer on here. Although plurals and singulars don't matter for this game, so if you would have said tree or trees, I would have given it to you. Logwood, dogwood, boxwood are all types of trees. Who's the first person on my screen to say tree? That would be Bronny. Bronny, you're at 4. Hey, Matt. Hope to see you again. We're going to play another round of... Typos are fine with this game. We're going to play another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. First person to tell me what tooth, ice, and guitar have in common. Get a point. Tooth, ice, and guitar. Pick is correct. Pick is correct. Richard Green. Welcome to the scoreboard. He is also a former champion, so he's being entered on the scoreboard as red. Richard Green. And continuing on to another round of Tribond. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. If you're enjoying this game or any other ones played in this channel, there are affiliate links in the description for you to purchase them. I did not make these games, but I do get a commission that helps support the channel. All right, first person to tell me what butter, steak, and Swiss Army have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Hey, Gabriel Bristol. Knife, correct. They are types of knives. Oh, that was a close one on my screen. Bronny got that one, and I can always pull up my screen to show you guys. Bronny, you're at 5. Could use my screen as a tiebreaker. Continuing on to another round of Tribon, the first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Maid of honor, best man, groom. Wedding would be correct there. People at a wedding. That's another point for Bronny. You're at 6. Continuing on, we'll finish this card. We'll finish this Tribon card and move on to another game. The first person to tell me what graphite, coal, and diamonds have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. First person to tell me what graphite, coal, and diamonds. This one might be a little tricky. Carbon is correct. They are forms of carbon. It's a point for Dovid. Dovid, you're currently in the lead with entering the Hall of Champions at 4 points. And we're going to move on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Ziti, fettuccine, vermicelli. Hey, Johnny Biz, welcome back. First person to tell me what ziti, fettuccine, vermicelli have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Pasta, baby. Ha ha, that is correct. And that point goes to Florida Woman. Jamie Lynn. All right, let me go ahead and add you to the scoreboard. Welcome to the scoreboard, Florida Woman. Give me a second. I do have to make sure that I spell your name correctly. Where is my mouse? There we go. You are going to enter in as blue since you are not currently in the Hall of Champions. We have Florida Woman. And it looks like this is your very first time earning a point on this game show, which means congratulations. After this show, I will be adding your name to the Hall of Fame. Where once you enter, you never leave. You only have to earn 1 point on this game show to enter the Hall of Fame. We currently have over 130 people on the Hall of Fame. And whoever gets the most points by the end of the stream who's not already in the Hall of Champions enters. We have about 30 people in the Hall of Champions. Hey, Chris Blaze, welcome back. Moving on to another round of Tribond. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Ooh. A stuntman, a substitute teacher, a pinch hitter. Oh, I'm glad you're liking it. You're welcome. I'm glad you are liking it. Hey, Miss Moonlight, this is a live game show where I host and keep score, and you play by commenting. Host is fast with the sounds. I do enjoy the sounds. This is a tricky one. I will accept substitute. Hey, Nap, we're playing Tribond right now. I will accept substitute because the answer was they take place of other people. So substitute is close enough. I would have accepted replacement, but I gave to substitute first. So whoever just subbed, this fireworks for you. Dovid, you're getting the point for substitute. Dovid, you're currently at 5 points in the lead for entering the Hall of Champions. Whoever just subbed, this fireworks also for you. All right, we're going to move on. We're going to try a new game for the first time. Awesome, Miss Moonlight. Thank you. Here's a firework. We are going to try to play Taboo. This will be the first time we're playing Taboo on this channel. How it normally goes is I have a bunch of words I'm not allowed to say, and I have to try to get my team to say it. However, we are in competition. The first person to say the word on this card, based off of the clues and the hints that I give, we'll get a point. So, we do have to give variance on this show of the games. So the first person to say the word on this card will get a point. When a newly led couple leaves a wedding, they go on a blank. We can play password soon. Whoever just subbed, this is for you. Honeymoon is correct. Honeymoon is correct. That is a point for Bronny. We're gonna play a few rounds of Taboo because we're gonna trial and error. We're gonna play a few rounds of Taboo. When a big group of people don't like the first person to correctly guess the word that I'm trying to describe, we'll get a point on the scoreboard. Yep, it's a new one. When a group of people don't like something, they will go and blank. People who blank typically come. Protest is correct. As I say, protest is correct. This is fun. Hey, Miss Moonlight, I'm glad you're liking it. Who was the first person on my screen who said protest? It looked like Dovid. And for anybody new here, just so you guys know, we do have to have some way to break ties. So we use my screen, and I can always pull it up and let you guys know. We're going to play a few more rounds of Taboo. Ooh. We're going to skip that one. That one seems challenging. I do try to keep this environment fair, friendly, and fun. Fair, friendly, and fun. All right. We're going to move on to another round of Taboo. The first person to correctly guess the word on this card based off of my clues and hints will get a point on the scoreboard. Apparently, this is I don't know if it's a type of horse, but it kind of looks like a horse. It's in Africa. It is black and white with stripes. Hey, Johnny Biz. Good to see you're back. This looks like a horse. Zebra is correct. That is a point for Javier. I do allow typos in every game except for password. All right, we're going to move on to another round of Taboo. First person to tell me what the word on the card is, we'll get a point on the scoreboard. This is the only time you can go into public, shoot somebody with one of these, and walk away with no problems. What is the device you could go up to in public, shoot somebody with, and walk out with no problems? A taser! Guys, I said walk in and leave with no problem. A camera is correct. Guys, you cannot walk into public with a taser or a gun, shoot somebody, and leave with no problems. A camera was the correct answer. A water gun would have been. That was tricky. I wanted to keep that one tricky. A camera. All right, that is a point for Florida woman. There's a lot of good answers, and that one there was a lot of bad answers, or at least funny answers. Man, I love this. I love hosting. You guys crack me up. Oh my God. All right, moving on to another round of Taboo. The first person to tell me what I am You didn't listen to the whole thing. It's funny. First person to tell me the word on this card based on my clues and hints gets a point. You can pack a lot of stuff in this, and it goes around your back. People use it for carrying a lot of things. It's not quite a purse. It's not gender specific at all. They are very common. School kids have to wear them all the time. Backpack is correct. That is a point for Javier. You're at 4 points. Currently, Dovin has 6 points, and Florida Woman has 2. The winner who enter the Hall of Champions is not announced till the end of the show. These are 2-hour-long streams with a 5-minute intermission halfway. This is the first one of the night. We have one more later, and 1 to 2 tomorrow, and then I'm out of town for a couple days. All right. Moving on to another round of Taboo. The first person to tell me the word I'm giving hints and clues to will get a point on the scoreboard. You can come here and you can watch plays. You can watch movies. The food is ridiculously expensive. Backpack was the correct one for the last one. It is a theater. And we're going to switch up the game a little bit. Who said theater first on my screen? That would be Javier. We're going to switch up the game a little bit. I do believe password was requested. So, Password is the only game on this show where I'm strict with the typos. You're not allowed to have typos on the game Password. I thought this would be a fun twist. I allow typos in every single game except for this one because it's called Password. So, Password is where I give clues and hints to my one-word password. The first person to correctly guess my one-word password, letter by letter, capitalization does not matter, gets a point on the scoreboard. If you're having a lot of pain, you might want to go get one of these. These feel really good, although during getting one of these, they might not feel good. This is where somebody is rubbing their hands, knuckles, and sometimes even elbows on you. Massage is correct. Let me make sure you spelled it right. Yep. First person to spell it right would be Javier. We'll play another round of Password. The first person to correctly guess my one-word password based off the clues and the hints that I give will get a point on the scoreboard. Ooh, this is a fun one. First person to guess my one-word password without any typos will get a point on the scoreboard. This little animal creature is very similar to a snail, except it lives on land. And it does not have a shell. Do you have a question, Miss Moonlight? Slug is correct. Slug is correct. What's wrong, Miss Moonlight? Did I miss something? If I missed something, let me know. I do make mistakes, and so I can go back and check. I do make mistakes. So, Javier, you're gonna get that point. Did I miss something? And if you guys think that I missed a point, let me know what word you said, where you think you said it first, and I can go back and I can check. It'll be easier for me to go back and check. Moving on to another round of Password. Awesome. I do like to be fair, so please, if I make a mistake, please let me know and I can correct it. Moving on to another round of Password. The first person to correctly guess my one-word password will get a point on the scoreboard. You are not allowed to have typos on this one. Oh. Let's see what happened. I had the wrong stack. Sometimes if you're in a hurry, you may blank your keys or something important at the house. It is easy to blank things in the moment you need to remember. This is probably the opposite of remembering something. Forget would be correct. Forget would be correct. Did you spell it right? Yes, first person to spell it right would be Florida Woman. Florida Woman, you're at 3 points. And moving on to another round of Password. The first person to correctly guess my one-word password will get a point on the scoreboard. Typos are not okay on this game and this game only. These signs are lit up and they're everywhere in commercial buildings. You probably won't see one You probably won't see one in like a house, but you'll see them in hospitals, schools. Is it miss? What was it? It was forget. These are light up signs, and they're so important that they're usually on backup generators as well in case power goes out. Remember, these are one-word passwords, and you must have it correct. These are one-word passwords. There will never be a two-word answer. There will never be a two-word answer. And if your comment is wrong, that exit is correct. David, I would have given it to you if this isn't the only game I was strict on, and that would be Javier will get the point. He is at 8. Exit. They are exit sign. Yep. Exit. And the first person to say it was David, but he put exit sign. And remember, guys, letter for letter. It was exit. Letter for letter, and they are, hey, Baronator, we'll see you later. We're going to play another round of password. The first person to correctly guess my one-word password without any typos will get a point on the scoreboard. Oftentimes, these are big barrels full of alcohol. These are what you call a big barrel full of alcohol. Or even sometimes non-alcoholic drinks. It's a very short word. Keg would be correct. That is a point for Richard Green. That is about the lengthiest extent I'll go to being inappropriate. This is a fair, fun, friendly environment. We like people of all ages to be welcome here, so there's sometimes I do have to just skip some cards if they're not family friendly. Oh, this is going to be tricky one. Hey, Legend Day Clerk, welcome back. Welcome back. We're going to play another round of password. The first person to correctly guess my one-word password will get a point on the scoreboard. I thought a keg was a type of barrel. Is a keg not a type of barrel? Oh, a keg is a vessel smaller than a barrel. Oh, yes, a keg is a type of barrel, specifically a small barrel or cask. That was the AI answer. It could be wrong. We know AI is not the best right now. Moving on, I do make mistakes, and I do apologize about that. Moving on to another round of password. The first person to correctly guess my one-word password will get a point on the scoreboard. Welcome back, Luchin. This is an instrument that I have never played. Not that that helps you guys. It is an air instrument. You blow into it. I think it sounds something like this. No, maybe like this. No, I think it's this one. I think it's that instrument. One of the main instruments for that one. Remember, no typos are not allowed, and I'm not going to accept emojis for this game. Trumpet would be correct. Trumpet would be correct. The emojis I'm not going to accept on this one. Trumpet. Did you spell trumpet right? Yes. That'd be a point for Bronny. Bronny, where are you on the scoreboard? I know you've been up here. 8 points for... You're at 8 points. Continuing on. Sorry, Richard, that I didn't accept the emoji. Continuing on to another round of password. This is where you guys have to guess my one-word password based off of the clues and the hints that I give. If you want to be really good at something, you have to blank and blank. Or you have to blank over and over again. It doesn't matter if you are naturally talented at something, you still need to blank something. Practice is correct. Man, that was a close one. You guys' things are coming in so fast. First person on my screen who said it was Bronny, and I can always pull up my screen. Bronny, you're at 9. We have a halftime break in about 20 minutes. Am I not in the game? You're in the game, Miss Moonlight. You are in the game. Flush. You are in the game. So I'm going to show you guys. I'll pull up my screen for a little bit just so you guys can see. Give me 1 second. Probably too. We're lenient. We're nice. Luchin Day Clerk. Did I miss something, guys? Oh, I see. Oh, give me a second. Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Continuing on. Yeah, this is why I don't pull up my screen, actually. Thank you, guys. Continuing on. Sorry, Miss Moonlight, just so you know, I'm just going to explain this real quick. I'm going to add this time to the end of the show because I got to explain it. This is okay. So with the internet, on many of you guys' screens, it may show that you sent it first, and we need some way to be able to break ties and to be fair, and being fair is very important to me. And so we use my screen as a tiebreaker. If you think that you said a word first, and on your screen, it may show you that you said it first, but that could be true for many people, and so we have to have some way to break ties. So we go off of my screen since I'm hosting, and I can always actually have my screen. I have the scoreboard right here, and I can pull it up to show you guys. However, a lot of people come in and say very inappropriate things, and so I only pull it up upon request. So another thing is people say that the stream tends to be faster on their PC, and refreshing the stream as well. And then also, if you're at home, go out, switch to your Wi-Fi instead of your data. All right, I will add that time to the end. Continuing back on, we're going to actually move on to Blurt. Blurt is a fan favorite. Many of the subscribers love Blurt. In fact, I'm going on vacation this weekend and I bought a dictionary just to extend this game. Blurt is where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person to tell me the correct word for either definition will get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 2 points can be handed out to the players. The first definition: an animal that has black and white fur and a bushy tail and can spray a liquid that smells very unpleasant. The second definition: a white or brown plant shaped like a little umbrella. What a funny definition. Skunk is correct. There's a point for Javier. You're at 9. I'll repeat the second definition. Oh, you got it. Mushroom is correct. There's another point for Javier. I've realized that dictionary definitions for animals and different types of food are really, really funny. And I just never would have guessed it. Moving on to another round of Blurt. Blurt is where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person to tell me the correct word for either definition can get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 2 points can be handed out to the players. You are only allowed 1 answer per comment, but as many comments as you would like. The first definition. Legend, this is called Blurt, where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person to tell me the correct word for either definition get a point on the scoreboard. You're allowed 1 guess per comment, as many comments as you would like. Moving on, the first definition. Land that is covered with a thick growth of tropical trees and plants. The second definition. The title of the rulers of ancient Egypt. Hey, Roy Katu, welcome. It is not Forrest. Welcome to the live game show where I host and keep score. You play by commenting. Jingle is close enough. It was jungle. I do accept typos as a point for Brawny. You're at 10. And did anyone get the next one? It was Pharaoh was correct. Oh, that was a Florida woman. You were a close second, but Javier did get it in on my screen right before you. Remember, I can always pull up my screen. Moving on. Typos are okay in every game except for password. We are going to move on to a round of Tribond. Also, if anybody's interested in any of the games played on this show, I do have affiliate links in the descriptions for every game and prop you see on the show. It does help support the channel at no extra cost to you if you buy through the link. These are not my games, but I do have games I make that you see on the channel. Moving on to another round of Tribond. We're moving on to Tribond for a little bit. Tribond is where I give you guys 3 things. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Hey, Dollar, welcome back. The first person to tell me what pin, gutter, and strike have in common get a point on the scoreboard. Pin, gutter, strike. This game does allow for some leniences in the answer. Bowling would be correct. Who said bowling first? That would be Brawny. All of the different games do have different levels of leniencies. Moving on to another round of Tribond, where I read 3 things. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. We have dunk, free throw, and 3-point. Basketball is correct. There's a point for Javier. Moving on. Moving on to another round of Tribond. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Robin Hood, Cupid, William Tell. Interesting. Robin Hood, Cupid, William Tell. I don't know who William Tell is, but I think arrow is correct. They shoot arrows or they have bows and arrows was what was on here. So since you said arrow, I would have accepted arrow, bow and arrow, archery. I would have accepted those. Javier, you get a point. Javier, you were at 13. And continuing on to another round of Tribond, where the first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Your cat is missing Election Day Clerk. I'm very sorry about that. That's pretty sad. First person to tell me what 1 iron, driver, and putter have in common. Get a point on the scoreboard. Golf would be correct. There's a point for Javier. Where are you, Javier? You're at 14. Moving on to another round of Tribond, where the first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. And then we're going to switch it up to Family Feud, where many points can be handed out. The first person to tell me what Democratic, Republican, and birthday have in common. Oh, sorry about that, Miss Moonlight. Party is correct. They are parties. It just says party on the card. That is a point for another point for Javier. Javier, you're at 15. 15. Very sorry about your loss. All right, we are going to switch it up, and we are going to play a round of Family Feud. Miss Moonlight, it's okay. I also do not know everything, and that's why I'm glad I just get to sit here, read the questions and the answers, because I would not be doing good on this game show. I enjoy hosting it, though. Oh, this is a fun one. We are going to play a round of Family Feud. How Family Feud works is I read you guys a question or tell you to name something. You're allowed 1 answer per comment, as many comments as you would like, until I say done in the chat and close the poll. Up to 4 points this round can be handed out to the players. Name something little boys want to be when they grow up. Yes, it's all about fun. It's all about having fun here. Some people compete. Some people just come to have fun. Name something little boys want to be when they grow up. As many answers as you would like. You're allowed as many answers, as many comments as you would like. I'll give you guys a hint. They are professions. And we're going to go ahead and close the poll right there. I only give the point out to the first person who said the answer on this card. And you just have to be close enough to the answer. Continuing on, what is that? Oh, I'm sorry if I didn't explain it. Family Feud. Sometimes it's sometimes some of the games are hard to explain, and so it's easier if you see how a round goes. Because I've noticed I could explain it for 3 or 4 minutes, or I could give a brief explanation, and then sometimes people see how it's played, and then they're able to catch on by the next round. So how this works is, and I closed the polling. We're playing a game of Family Feud. And right now, this round was name something little boys want to be when they grow up. So you're supposed to name something a little boy would want to be when he grows up. You're allowed 1 answer per comment, as many comments as you would like. I give you guys a random amount of time. It depends on how many players are in. And then I hit done, or I hit the buzzer and I say done in the chat. And then I read the chats from top to bottom. And if you had an answer on here and you were the first one to say it, you get a point. Up to 4 points can be handed out. We're going to start at the top. Superhero. Was superhero on here? It was not. Cop. Policeman is on here, so I'll give the point to Cop. Bronny, you get the point for saying Cop. Oh, I need another marker. Here we go. Now 3 points are left to give out. Actors is on. Excuse me. Actor is on here. Oh, I'm sorry, actor is not on here. I meant to say actor is what he said. Cop, the point for Cop was already handed out. Police, the point for, hey, Mike Tones, welcome back. Was already handed out. Rich was not on here. Soldier is not on here. Dad is not on here. YouTuber's not on here. Fireman is on here. Oh, Bronny Lee said fireman, and then Mike Tones said firefighter, but Bronny Lee said it first. So, Bronny Lee, you're going to get the point for fireman because fireman is on here. Bronny, that's another point for you. You're at 13. Mike Tones, good to see you back. Astronaut was not on here. There's still 2 answers left. And it was doctor and athlete. I'm going to scroll a little bit faster, see if we can see it. Wrestler is on here. That is close enough to an athlete. Brody, I'm going to give the point to you for that one. You're at 14. We have lenient. Sees. Doctor is on here, and that's a point for you, Javier. You're at 16. And that is all of the points given out. All right. Thank you for the bless you. All right, we're gonna play another round. We're gonna play another round of Family Feud since you guys got to see how it goes a little bit, and all right, we're gonna play a round of Family Feud. There are 5 answers on this card, which means up to 5 points can be handed out to the players. Once I say the category, have a good one, Johnny. Once I say the category or name something in the question, that's when you guys will start commenting. Name something people must be legally old enough to do. There are 5 answers. You're allowed 1 answer per comment. As many comments as you would like. Please, you can begin as soon as you hear it, which I said it. Name something people must be legally old enough to do. And remember, this is an appropriate show, so I know. Don't say something. It's on the card. If it's legal, it's appropriate-ish. Name something people must be legally old enough to do. I'm going to go ahead and close the poll right there. I'm going to go scroll to the top, and then we'll switch on from Family Feud. All right, first answer is Drive. Drive is on here. That is a point for Javier. We play many different types of games on this game show. Drink from Bronny. I think I just saw Drink. Yep. It's a point for Bronny. Bronny, you're at 19. Javier, you're at 17. We have Drink and Drive. Vote is on here. That's a point for Florida Woman. Vote is on here. All right, we have 2 more that are not said yet. Smoke is on here. That's a point for Bronny. Were you the first person to say it? Yep, Bronny. You're at 15. We have 1 more left, and I'll just say it. It's gamble. Did anybody say anything close to gambling? Oh, gambling is on here. That's a point for Richard. All right, perfect. That was a good round. All the points were given out. Drink was on here, Miss Moonlight, but I give it to the first person who said it. I think your answers are lagging a little bit behind. You might want to refresh your stream. I would maybe recommend closing out and coming back in. We have about 8 minutes until a little less than 8 minutes till the halftime break. This is a 2-hour-long stream, so I announce the winner at the end of every stream. And the winner will be somebody with a blue name, since everybody on the pink is already on the Hall of Champions. And your name will be entered in the Hall of Champions. Returning players, I'm sorry if you guys see the Hall of Champions was changed. I hit the text limit on this thing, and so I had to shorten it, and that really sucked. So I'm looking into another option to be able to display the Hall of Champions. There's currently 30 people. Actually, we're going to go back to Taboo. How Taboo works is you guys have to guess my 1 word. They're the word on this card based off of my clues and hints. First person to correctly guess this word will get a point. This is a very big appliance in your house that keeps food cold. Doesn't keep it frozen, but it keeps it cold. Typos are okay. Emojis are not. Fridge is fine. Close enough. Refrigerator, but fridge is fine. A lot of leniencies. If you guys ever watch game shows online, they do offer a lot of leniencies. We're going to move on to another round of Taboo. And also, for some people here, if your internet's a little slow, this happens to all the regulars at sometimes at different points. I do stream multiple times a day, so if you come back another time, your internet might just have a better connection to me. So I do apologize that I can't, unfortunately, have a lot of control over that. But so some people come in, see their internet's not. Who got that point? I'll just go back. Cody, you got the point. Did I not give it to you? Oh. Javier got the point. Lo siento, amigo. Yeah, Javier, you did get the point. I hope I put it on the board. Moving on to another round of... Oh, no, yeah, I said, like, fridge is close enough. You see him put in there? Awesome. I don't think I... All right, sweet, sweet. Yeah, I know you got it because I saw you said fridge first. But moving on to another round of... Excuse me. Moving on to another round of taboo. Hey, first person to correctly guess this word will get a point on the scoreboard. This is usually on the front of the house or the back of the house. They could be made out of concrete. They could be made out of wood. Sometimes they have an awning over it. Sometimes they don't. A lot of people hang out here in the outside when it's outside with a grill on it. Porch would be correct. Porch would be correct. Which, I'll be honest, I don't know the difference between a porch and a deck. To be honest. First person to say porch would be Javier. Oh, moving on to another round of taboo. Oh, interesting. Good to know. Good to know. All right, moving on to another round of taboo. And then a patio would just be flat, completely flat on the ground, right? Is that the difference then? Moving on to another round of taboo. The first person to... Oh, interesting. The first person to tell me what this word is will get a point on the scoreboard. You use this to write, but you can't erase it when you write. It's a very common writing utensil. Pen would be correct. Pen would be correct. That's a point for Richard. I did say you can't erase it. Richard, you have 4. All right, I'm going to read the scores real quick, and we're going to continue on. Amongst the champions, Luke Duke has 8. I believe he left the stream. Brawny has 15. Javier has 19. Richard Green has 4. And amongst the currently 2 people competing to enter the Hall of Champions, oh no, Dovid has 6, followed by Florida Woman with 4. That's a close competition. Moving on to another round of taboo. The first person to tell me what this word is will get a point on the scoreboard. This is a shape with no corners. This is a shape with no corners. And it's hard to draw it perfectly. If you flattened the earth, this is what it would be. Circle would be correct. I'm going to give the point to Florida. That is okay. Oh, almost used the wrong marker. Florida, you're at 5 points, catching up to Dovid. But the winner is not announced till the end of the stream. We have about an hour, a couple minutes over an hour till the winner is announced, and your name will be permanently entered. Although, Florida, you already entered, because it's your first time getting a point, you are entered to the Hall of Fame. Once you enter, you never leave. The scores are reset between streams. Hey, Joe Rogan, welcome back. Show the champion's name. I want to see him. Yeah, you were I think you were number 7. Joe Rogan, let me check. Joe Rogan, you were the 8th person to become a champion. You actually, I wish you would have come any stream before today, because in between the last stream and today's stream, I hit the max amount of words I was allowed to use on this. So I'm looking for something else. So in the meantime, I had to shorten the Hall of Champions, which is a real bummer. So I'm looking for something else to be able to display the Hall of Champions. But you are number 8. Your name has been up here every single stream. You can go back to any stream and see your name in every single stream until this one. Horrible time to come back. But welcome back. Oh, that's funny. Welcome back. All right. We're going to move on to another round of taboo. The first person to guess this word based off my clues and hints will get a point on the scoreboard. You need to bring this if you are camping or hiking. This is great for keeping out the rain, but it might not keep you very warm unless you bring other things into this. Tent would be correct. That is a point for Javier, with Florida being a close second. Javier, you're at 20. Ooh, moving on Moving on to another round of Taboo. The first person to correctly guess this word based off my clues and hints gets a point on the scoreboard. If you work out a lot, you will blank. If it gets in your eyes, it might feel a little salty. I imagine it would taste salty, but I'm not really sure. Sweat would be correct. There's a point for Ronnie. Florida, you're a close second. You're a close second on that one. Ronnie, where are you? Right there. 16 points you're at. Moving on to another round of Taboo. I have another game I'd like to introduce tomorrow, I think. I don't know how that one's going to go. I'm glad this one's going good, but I don't know how the other one's going to go. We are moving on to another round of Taboo. The first person to correctly guess this word based off the clues and the hints that I give will get a point on the scoreboard. If you are overworked in life and not very happy and you have too much on your plate, it could lead to this. This is actually one of the most unhealthy states of mind. Hey, Christina, welcome back. Hey, guys, my son's coming by. I wanted to say, hey, question, am I the only female on here? I would assume Florida woman is a female. So, no, you are not. Stress was correct. Also, Christina, we had a mother and daughter competing the other day. That was fun. We have husbands and wives who come and compete. So we do like to keep it family friendly. I don't care what age you are. I don't care what gender you are. I don't care what country you're from. As long as you guys are family friendly in this chat, you're welcome to stay. And if you're not family friendly, we get you out of here. So it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. We have people all over the world. As long as when you guys are in this chat, you guys are respectful to everyone else and having a good time, you're allowed to stay. So I want to keep a family-friendly environment because this is games, and I don't care if you're 5 years old, you're 90 years old. I think it's a fun. Games are a great way for everybody around the world to connect. So, and to keep it all inclusive, family-friendly. All right, stress was the answer. Who's the first person to say stress? Javier, you said stressed. That's going to be a point for you. We're going to do one more round, and then we're going to go on our halftime 5-minute break. This is another word for when you really want something. Awesome, Christina. Awesome. We're going to play a round of Taboo. The first person correctly guess this one word will get a point on the scoreboard. If you really deeply want something, it is called this. Yearn would be another one. Crave. When you have a deep longing for something. It's not, if I say the word though, it's not the word on here. Desire would be correct. Desire. First person on my screen who said it would be Florida woman. Oh, how exciting. Florida woman, you are tied with Dovid. You are tied with Dovid for 6 points for entering the Hall of Champions, but now we have Christina joining soon and potentially her son, which means more competitors. Don't get comfortable. The winner will be announced in a little less than an hour from now. So, guys, I'm going to explain how the 5-minute break works. I take a 5-minute break halfway through, and the winner is announced 1 hour and 55 minutes into the stream, unless I have to pause for something like showing the screen or technical difficulties, and I do keep track of that on my stopwatch, and I write down on the board. So today's stream will end at 1 hour, 55 minutes, and 45 seconds so far. I don't add more than 5 minutes onto a show, though, just to keep respect everybody's time. So how the break works is when you hear the sound of the gong, the 5 minutes have started, and I do keep a stopwatch on me so I can respect everyone's time. When you hear the sound of the air horn, the break is over. The break is officially starting right now. I will be back in 5 minutes. Hey, it's Shannon. I host the games and keep score while you play them by commenting. If you would like to support the channel and enter the Hall of Supporters, my Cash App is Shannon1742. My PayPal and Venmo are mindfuldiscovery@yahoo.com. These should be pinned in the comments. If you are interested in any of the games played on this show or the props used, I have affiliate links in the description. I earn a commission for each product bought at no extra cost to you. Another way you could show support is by purchasing my book, Beyond Solitaire, 52 Unique One-Player Games. This is a book on learning the rules for 52 solitaire-type card games with various levels of difficulties, chance, and skill. I wrote detailed instructions for new and experienced players to be able to learn these games, along with setup pictures for examples. Beyond Solitaire, 52 Unique One-Player Games is available on Amazon as a paperback book and on the Kindle store. It is also enrolled in the Kindle Unlimited program. We have a minute left in the break. Who will enter the Hall of Champions tonight? The three key principles for this game show: we want to be fair, we want to have fun, and we want to be friendly. I personally want to thank this community and everyone in the Hall of Fame for helping develop this positive game show experience. We still have a few seconds left. All right, that is the end of the break. Yes, there's one new game mode. It's called Taboo. Sorry, I had to think about it. Hi, Legend Day Clerk. I do have to be fair on the scoreboard. You guys do have to earn it. But, Lutchen, you were on the score. You were number 52 in the Hall of Fame, which means you have earned a point and have been on this scoreboard before. You were number 52 in the Hall of Fame. Dollar, welcome back. All right, guys, we're going to start back light. Catch up with the comments for a quick second. Christina, can't wait to see you back. Florida woman, I'm glad you are liking this. I'm glad you're liking this. Finally, some good fun online. Glad you're liking this. I do have to be fair with the points. All right, we are going to, love the snap. We're going to play a round of Guess That Balloon. You are only allowed 2 guesses per balloon. This is where the first person to correctly guess the balloon animal or balloon artwork that I am making will get a point on the scoreboard. Only 2 guesses are allowed per person, per balloon. What are we going to do? Just so you know, I do try to stream every single day. I do try to stream every single day, about 6 days a week, multiple times a day. I will have you guys know I am going out of town this weekend on for a family reunion. All right, first person to correctly guess what I have made will get points on the scoreboard. It is a swan. A swan would be correct. Who's the first person on my screen who said swan? That would be Javier. Did you only have... That was your first guess? Perfect. Perfect. Javier, where are you? Continuing on, we're going to play another round of Guess That Balloon. The first person to correctly guess the balloon within 2 guesses will get a point on the scoreboard. 2 guesses per player, per balloon. 2 guesses per player, per balloon. Oh, that's a fun one. We do play a variety of games on this show. All different types of games. I will be checking to make sure you guys only have 2 guesses per balloon. A teddy bear would be correct. A bear would be bear. Teddy bear, bear. Bear would be correct. Let me see. Who is the first person to say bear? Looks like Javier will get the point. Javier, oops, you're at 23. Oh, Florida, you were so close. Javier did get it first on my screen. I can always pull up my screen. All right, it looks like we got a lot of players back in, so we're going to continue on. We're going to play, we're actually going to go back to Tribon. Trying not to play too much Blurt until I read that dictionary this weekend. Nice skills, my dude. Thank you. Thank you. Balloon art is very fun. I enjoyed it a lot. We're going to continue on to Tribon. Tribon is where the first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. What? Okay, the first person to tell me what hot, chili, and corn have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. First person to tell me what hot, chili, and corn have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Dog is correct. Dog. Hot dog, chili dog, corn dog. I read the answer first. When I flipped over and saw corn, I'm like, what? But first person to say dog would be Richard. I know that one made me laugh. Richard, you're at 5. I love playing this game, seeing your guys' answers and seeing the answer to these questions. It's very fun. Ooh. We're going to do another round of Tribond. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common gets a point on the scoreboard. We have high, lawn, and rocking. High, lawn, and rocking. Chair is correct. High chair, rocking chair, lawn chair. Chair would be correct. That is a point for Javier. Florida woman, you were close. Wow, Richard, you know, horse was a good guess. You know, Richard, horse was a good guess. Chair was on here, so it's got to go to Javier, but horse was an interesting guess. It was good. We're going to play another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Hook, uppercut, jab. Hook, uppercut, jab. First person to tell me what these three things. When you said hot, yeah, that's fair. Went too quick. Box. Boxing is correct. Boxing or punches I would have accepted. Javier, you're at 25. Moving on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. A, E, I. First person to tell me what A, E, I have in common, get a point on the scoreboard. Vowels is correct. Vowels. They are vowels. That's a point for Javier. Oops, gotta make sure that's big enough. All right. Continuing on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. First person to tell me what squirrels, rats, and gerbils have in common, get a point on the scoreboard. Squirrels, rats, and gerbils. Rodent is correct. That is a point for Bronny. Bronny, you're at 17. Lutchen, you said how. What were you saying? How to? All right, hold on. I will add this time. I will add this time to the end. Hold on. I'm going to show you. I know I gave the point to Javier. I'm going to pop out my chat and show you guys real quick. Remember, we do have to have some way to keep it fair, so we do go off of my chat, and I do add this time to the end of the game. Can I add more than 5 minutes? Oh, is this zoomed in enough for you guys to see it? I do hope my chat's actually on. All right, here we go. Lutchen, here's where you said box, and then punch, 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 boxing, box. Javier said box right here. Box or boxing would have been correct, or punches would have been correct. First person to say it. We're going to go back a little bit. Chairs when we were on the last one. First person on my screen to say it was Javier. All right, has another 45. That means we're going to be adding a minute and a half to the end of the show. I never add more than 5 minutes to the end of the show, just to keep fair of people's time. So the winner is always going to be announced between an hour and 55 minutes and 2 hours into the game show. Hey, Ken, welcome back. Was that an official challenge? No, but we have many new people in here, so I wanna show how it works. Moving on to another round of Tribon. The first person to correctly tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. First person to tell me what fox, treasure, and scavenger have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Hunt is correct. That is a point for Bronny. Good to have you back. Bronny, you're at 18. Moving on to another round of Tribon. Tribon is where I give you guys three things. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. What the heck? First person to tell me what the jerk, the pony, and the twist have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Am I in Canada? I am in the United States for now. I have been to Canada very briefly. Dance is correct. They are types of dances. That is a point for Bronny. I am born and raised in the United States. I have lived in a few other countries, and hopefully we'll be doing that again soon. But I will still be streaming when I move. I will be moving in the next 3 to 6 weeks. Moving on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Okay, we're not going to do that. I try very hard not to do U.S.-specific questions because most of my audience is not even in the U.S. All right, the first person to tell me what a violin, a tennis racket, and a marionette has in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Oh, I'm glad you like my videos. Thank you. Strings would be correct. They have strings. That's a point for Bronny. Bronny, you're at 20. Moving on to another round of Tribon. Tribon is where the first person to tell me these 3 things have in common will get a point on this scoreboard. Ooh. First person to tell me what diamonds, hearts, and clubs have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. First person to tell me what diamonds, hearts, and clubs. Cards is correct. That's a point for Javier. Ken, I will have you know that typos are okay in every game except for password. You still didn't get it first, but I see you said strong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people above. Oh no, when you said strong, 2 people above you said string or strings. Strong is so close to string that I would have recognized that as a typo, and I would have given you a point. Typos are okay. Dollar, your travel yourself. Awesome. Awesome. Hey, James M., welcome back. Yes, I'm very lenient on typos and some other things along the game for every game except for password. Moving on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Finger, oil, latex. First person to tell me what finger, oil, and latex have in common. Awesome, Ken. I just want to let you know typos are acceptable. It's not glove. I actually thought it would be glove, but it's not. We're going to go with finger, oil, and latex. I'm going to read it one more time and then put 15 seconds on the clock. The first person, oh yeah, I said to read it first. The first person to tell me what finger, oil, and latex have in common get a point on the scoreboard. Once I close it, I will not accept any more answers. All right, I'm officially closing the poll. It was paint. It was paint. Richard, you said print, but you said it after I said done. Print is close to paint, but you don't get it because I said done. I only accept them after I said done. Let me go back and see if anyone said paint or anything close to it. Yes, we have finger paint, oil paint, latex paint. Yep. Paint was the correct answer. Moving on to another round of Tribon. Oh, this will be interesting. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Yes, there is paint that is made out of latex, and there's paint that's made out of oil, and then there's finger painting. Where do I get the games? I get them from thrift stores. Yep. I have a thrift store near my house that has hundreds of games. Actually, I have 2 thrift stores near my house that have hundreds of games. I also make them myself as well, and I go through my personal collection. Moving on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. The key, the scale, the legend. Map is correct. They are parts of a map. That is correct. Ken, that is a point for you. Ken, I've seen you a few times. Welcome back and welcome to the scoreboard. We'll go ahead and add Ken real quick. On the board, yes. Moving on to another round of, actually, we're going to switch it up. We're going to play Taboo. The first person to guess this word on the card will get a point on the scoreboard. First person to get a point will get a point. First person to guess the word will get a point. Excuse me. This is a type of vehicle that is all-terrain, 4 wheels. Oftentimes you see people driving it without the doors on. It is road legal. Jeep would be correct. That is a point for Florida woman. Jeep would be correct. Florida woman, it looks like, confirming the point, Florida woman, it looks like you are now in first place for entering the Hall of Champions. Congratulations, you just overtook Dovin. Continuing on to another round of Taboo. The first person to guess this word will get a point on this scoreboard. If you live in one of these in an urban area, you have many people living nearby. People are a little bit more spread out in these in suburban areas, and in many country areas, you might not see many people living in one of these. These are made up of many houses. They could be made up of apartments. They could be made up of mansions. They could be made up of trailers. They could be made up of houses. They could be made up of RVs. They could be made up of warehouse. They wouldn't be made up of warehouses. That would be a commercial area. These are always residential areas. This is what you would call a street filled with houses, and this is a more friendly word for a street. Communities a little bit closer. Hey, Johnny Biz, welcome back. It's good. You could also, this is what you would call a block. Neighborhood is correct. Neighborhood is correct. First person on my screen. You guys had a lot of guesses, so I'm going to go back a little bit and make sure nobody said neighborhood first. Neighborhood was the correct answer. That would be Ken. Ken, you're getting another point. Oh, wrong marker, and I don't want to ruin my marker, so I do have to be careful. Ken, you're at 2. Moving on to another round of Taboo. First person to correctly guess what this word is will get a point on the scoreboard. Oops. People like to go watch cars take left turns on one of these continuously. This is 2 words, actually, but I'll accept it as 1 word. I don't care if you put the space in. People spend... the cars drive on this racetrack. Racetrack was the correct 1 or 2 words. That is a point for Ken. Ken, you're at 3. We do have one more show tonight, an hour after this one ends. Now we're going to move on to Blurt. Blurt is a fan favorite. Blurt is where you read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person to tell me the correct word for either definition will get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 2 points can be handed out to the players. The first definition: a soft yellow precious metal that is used especially to make jewelry and coins. The second definition: someone whose work is cutting hair and shaving beards. Gold would be correct, so that is a point for Ken. Barber is correct. That is another point for Ken. Ken, you're at 5, catching up to Florida woman who's at 7. Remember, the winner is not announced until the end of the show. Moving on to another round of Blurt, where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person to tell me the correct word for either definition will get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 2 points can be handed out to the players. The first definition: a rod or bar that forms a step on a ladder. The second definition: a sharp, painful contraction of a muscle. Cramp is correct for the second one. That's a point for Ken. I'll reread the first one. Ken, you're at 6. A rod or bar that forms a step on a ladder. Have a good one, Luchin Dickler. Rung is correct. That is a point for Johnny Biz. Oh, well, welcome. Hey, Johnny, welcome to the scoreboard. Glad to see you came back to enjoy another game show. You don't gotta thank me, you earned it. But you're welcome. Moving on. We're going to move on to Family Feud. We're going to play Family Feud. This is where I have you guys name something in a category. You're allowed as many guesses as you would like. 1 guess per comment. Up to 4 points Up to 4 points can be handed out to the players. I did draw on my car. I do, yeah. I drove on my car with a lot of dry erase markers, and then I totaled it by accident. It was an old car. Nobody was injured. I didn't even hit anyone else. I just slammed on the brakes too hard. That was rather unfortunate because I really like drawing on the car. I even got about 10 random people I didn't know to draw on the car too, which was really fun. All right, continuing on. We're going to play around a family feud. You guys are allowed one guess per comment, as many comments as you would like. Name a beverage that tastes terrible if it's lukewarm. Up to 4 points can be handed out to the players. Name a beverage that tastes terrible if it's lukewarm. Thank you, Rich. Appreciate that. I'm going to wait until I see the fourth answer because I think you guys will say it. The first three have been said. Name a beverage that tastes terrible if it's lukewarm. You know, you guys might not actually say it, so I'll give a few more seconds. Name a beverage that's terrible if it's lukewarm. There we go. I saw it. We go ahead and close it right there. All right, starting at the top. Name a beverage that tastes terrible if it's lukewarm. We have, the first answer would be from Ken, soda. Soda is on here. Ken, you're tied with Florida Woman for first place. Remember, you can only enter the Hall of Champions once. So, whoever gets it, if you come back another stream, you'll see your name as pink. Continuing on, beer is also on here. That's a point for Bronny. Bronny, you're at 21. We have soda. We have beer. The other two answers were coffee and milk, and I do believe, yep, Bronny said milk first. I do believe I saw them both. All right, first person who said coffee would be Ken. Uh-oh, Ken. You're now in first place, but remember, okay, competition's fierce on this one, guys. Remember, it is not officially announced until the end. Ken, you came in swinging. All right. Hey, Michael, welcome. We're going to move on to another round. Oof. This one sounds fun. I want to hear you guys' answers, so we're actually going to play this one. We're going to move on to another round of Family Feud. Up to 5 points can be handed out to the players. You're allowed as many guesses as you would like. One guess per comment. Name someone whose job it is to help people make difficult decisions. Name someone whose job it is to help people make difficult decisions. All right, they've started. I'm going to go ahead and end it right there. All right, going up. All right, Javier, you said doctor, and that is on here. Javier, you're at 28. Oh, there we go. That looks like 2 points. Hold on, I have to correct that. Sorry. Continuing on. Carer. Nope. Lawyer is on here. Javier, there's another point for you. We got lawyer was already said. Shrink. Counselor's on here, so I'm going to give it to you for shrink. Richard. Where are you, Richard? You're at 6. So we gave it out for doctor, lawyer, and counselor. Next we have not that. Attorney, nope. We have shrink, attorney, lawyer, nurse, therapist. I already give that out. People, dentist, parents. Clergy is on here, so that's close enough. Bronny, I'll give you the point when you said preacher. I'll give it to you for that. So close enough. That is 23. Hey, John, welcome back. Welcome back. Nobody got the other point, but the other point was judge. The other point was judge. We're going to play, we're going to go back to Tribond. Welcome back. We're going to go on to Tribond. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. The first person to tell me what a hard drive, a virus, and a mouse have in common. First person to tell me what a hard drive, a virus, and a mouse. Computer is correct. That's a point for Javier. Javier, you're at 30. Continuing on to another round of Tribond. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. The first person to tell me what an actor, a clown, and a model have in common. The first person to tell me what an actor, a clown, and a model have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Makeup is correct. They all wear makeup. An actor, a clown, and a model. It's a point for Javier. Where Javier at 31. So Javier is on a computer. I promise he's on his phone. It's funny. What? Huh. I love this game. I love playing these. I learned so much. Moving on to another round of Tribond. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. The three things are soul, skate, sardine. Soul, skate, sardine. Sometimes I have to double check these answers and make sure I'm reading the right line because it really gets me. Soul, skate, sardine. This is a tricky one. Soul, skate, sardine. Fish would be correct. Apparently they are fish. Soul, skate, sardine. Oh, soulfish. Skatefish. All right, I'm going to see who the first person to say fish was. I do believe it was Richard, but I'm going to check. Yes, it was Richard. Richard, you're at 7. Yeah, fish. I know that one. I love this game. Continuing on to another round of Tribond. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Unicorn, unicycle, unicellular. You knew so awesome. I did not. All right, BRB, all right, Mike, we will be here. One is correct. They all have one of something. Javier, that is a point for you. Moving on to another round of Tribond. The first person to tell me what these three things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Interesting. First person to tell me what a hockey player, a lacrosse player, and a drummer have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. John Comforter, I will be doing another stream tonight. Hopefully the internet will be a little bit better. Sticks is correct. Johnny, I do believe I've done that in the Hall of Fame. I remember you asking last time. First person to say sticks would be Florida Woman. This is a close one. Florida Woman. Uh-oh, you are tied with Ken again. This is a very close one. We have a little over 20 minutes before we announce the winner. Johnny, I'm going to make it easier for myself because sometimes I need all of the space on the scoreboard. So if I can shorthand your name, I do shorthand your name. But on the Hall of Fame, you are, it is spelled there. And so to continue on with the time, to stay on time, we're going to continue on to with the games. The first time I write you guys scoreboard, I write it letter for letter correct so I can update my records after. But then after, if I can write a shorthand for your name, I do, because sometimes we have 2 columns of names, so I do have to be careful about that. Moving on to another round of Tribon, the first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common, will get a point on the scoreboard. First person to tell me what a water park, a playground, and a microscope have in common. John, I'll be streaming again in about an hour and 22 minutes from now. An hour and 22 minutes from now, I will be streaming again. Slides is correct. Slides is correct. First person on my screen who said slides would be Florida Woman. Where are you? Oh, Florida Woman, you just took the lead. Drinking the Hall of Champions. Ken, bacteria is probably an accurate thing too. Fun could be correct too. Microscopes can be fun to look in. All right, Dollar, we'll be here. Moving on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. The first person... So sorry if I pronounce this wrong. First person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. LaGuardia, O'Hare, Heathrow. I'm so sorry if I pronounced them wrong. Airports is correct. Oh, that was a close one. The point goes to Florida Woman. They are airports: LaGuardia, O'Hare, Heathrow. All right. Continuing on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common. Have a good one, Luchin. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. The first person to tell me what odd, irrational, and even have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Number is correct. That is a point for Javier. Javier, you're at 33. Moving on to another round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Window, center, aisle. The first person to tell me what window, center, aisle have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Window, center, aisle. Seat would be correct. Seat would be correct. As that is typically common on planes, that is also true on trains and buses as well, that, you know, if they have 3 seats, you have a window, center, and aisle one. So seat was the correct answer I was looking for. That is a point for Bronny. Bronny, you're at 24. It's more commonly used on planes, but it is used on other modes of transportation as well. Continuing on to another... round of Tribon. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Hey, Paki Rahu, welcome back. First person to tell me what Jupiter, Alaska, and the blue whale have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. First person to tell me what Jupiter, Alaska, and the blue whale is a little bit more of an abstract answer. Big would be correct. They are the largest. This is the biggest planet, biggest state of the U.S., and the biggest animal. Big would be correct. We have car, house, cold, big. That would be Michael B. Michael B., you're the first person to say big. This is actually why, and this is why I go back and check, because I saw Florida would say big LOL, but I had to go back and check because Michael said big 2 comments above on my screen, and I do like to be as fair as possible, so I do have to go back and check. Michael B., welcome to the scoreboard. Give me 1 second. Guys, I do try to make this as fair as I can. I try to make this as fair as I can. And continuing on to another round of Tribond. Tribond is where the first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. First person to tell me what sour, bitter, sweet have in common. John, sometimes the latency is different for different people. All right. Taste was the correct answer. Florida woman, you said flavors first. And I believe that is close. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to you. That's close enough. We are lenient with different levels of leniences for all the game, except for password. That one's the most strict. Florida woman, you're gonna get that one. You're at 11. Don't get comfortable. It is not announced for 15 more minutes, roughly 15 and a half. Continuing on. You said tongue? Did you say tongue? Tinge. You did, Brawny, but it was third on my screen. Otherwise, I would have gone back and give it to you. I would have given it to you for tongue, but you were third on my screen. So, continuing on to another round of Tribond. First person to tell me what these 3 things have in common. I'm going to point on the scoreboard. We'll skip that one. That's US specific. First person to tell me what violet, lilac, and plum have in common. We'll get a point on the scoreboard. First person to tell me what violet, lilac, and plum. All right. The answer was a shade of purple. I will give it for you for color, so that will go to Brawny. I will give it to you for that. Continuing on to another round of Tribond. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common is gonna get a point on the scoreboard. We have sperm, pilot, and beluga. First person to tell me what sperm, pilot, and beluga have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. Yes, Javier did get purple first, but Brawny said colors first, and both were acceptable answers. Whales is correct. Yeah, color is close enough on that one. First person to say whale would be Brawny. See, in plants, I would not have accepted. Brawny for whale. Continuing on to another round of Tribond. Ooh, this will be good. The first person to tell me what fraternal, identical, and Siamese have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. First person to tell me what fraternal, identical, and Siamese. Twins is correct. They are types of twins. That's a point for Brawny. Continuing on to another round of Tribond. The first person to tell me what these 3 things have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. First person to tell me what barrel racing, bulldogging, and bull riding have in common will get a point on the scoreboard. I'm going to give it to rodeo. There was technically a few correct answers before that, but they weren't specific enough, so I'm going to give it to James M for rodeo. Sometimes this game can be difficult on how close I'll let you guys be. You got to be close, but you can't be too broad. Too broad sometimes. Like, for example, when I'm making a balloon animal and somebody just says balloon, inflated balloon, as you're technically not wrong. I do want a little bit more of a specific answer. But it's hard because it's subjective and I have to do it on the spot. James M., welcome to the scoreboard. You were the first one to say rodeo. Oh, wrote your name. Didn't give you your point. My apologies. Continuing on to another round. Actually, much time do we have? We have a little over 10 minutes. We are going to play a round of Family Feud. The first person oh, I'm sorry, Family Feud. 5 points can be handed out to the players. 5 points can be handed out to the players. You allow as many guesses as you would like, 1 guess per comment. What would you do if you came home to find your front door open? What would you do if you came home to find your front door open? As many guesses as you would like. Oh, man. Fix the house. Cry was the first answer that made me laugh. You guys are actually... You guys had some good answers, some funny answers, definitely some points handing out. All right. Poll is done. I only accept the answers above when I say done to keep it fair. Call the cops. Yes, it's top answer. Point for Mike Jones. Mike, I thought you got a point earlier. Did I not add you to the scoreboard earlier? Welcome to the scoreboard. I thought you got at least 1 point earlier. Weird. All right, well, you're added now. I could have swore you got a point earlier, so I might have made a mistake there. If I did, I apologize. All right. Continuing on. Cry is not on here. Police. Call 911. I already get that. There. Go back to the house. Run/don't go in is on here. There's another point for Mike Jones. Check my surroundings. Go in/check house is in here. I'm going to give that to Richard. Draw a weapon. It says get gun. Mike, that's another point for you. Last one is ask who's there. Find someone, police. Look in the house, call the cops. Fix house. Call police, go to neighbors, shout out. All right, Richard Green, you said shout out. I don't know if you're shouting to your neighbor or if you're shouting into the house. That's a weird one. Shout out. I don't... Because I see 2 under you. Mike Jones said say who's there, which would give the point, but you said shout out, and I don't know if you're shouting out into the house or at your neighbors. I'm going to go ahead and give it to you there, Richard. You also asked who's there also. Oh, yeah, but you asked that after Mike Jones. So, that one's a weird one. Yeah, Mike, I thought you got a point earlier. I'm going to give you a point because I was so sure that you got a point earlier. What? Well, on my screen, it goes, Richard Green said shout out. Then John said call cops. Mike Jones said say who's there. Florida woman said scream. And then Michael said run to the nearest place. And then Richard Green said ask who's there. So when I hear shout out, I think of one of 2 things. You could shout out to a neighbor or you could shout out into the house. So that it's hard with that one. So I'm going to give the point to Richard. We have about 6 minutes left till the end. So that one's a little bit weird because I only think there's 2 things you'd be shouting for, either into the house or at a neighbor or to a neighbor's house for help or something. That's kind of one of those times where having to come up on the spot, the answer is a little tricky. All right, we have about 6 minutes left, roughly. All right, we're going to move on. We're going to go play Blurt. Blurt is fan favorite. Blurt is where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person to tell me the correct word for either definition will get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 2 points can be handed out to the players. The first definition, the color of most plant leaves in growing grass. The second definition, the part of a plant that produces seeds. Green is correct. That's a point for Florida woman. At 12. Flower is correct. That is another point for Florida woman. You're at 13. Moving on to another round of Blurt, where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person, hey, lifespan. The first person, this is a live game show where I host and keep score. You play by commenting. This is the first show of the night. Ends in a few minutes. We have another one an hour and 10 minutes from now. Continuing on to another round of Blurt, where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person to tell me the correct word for either definition will get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 2 points can be handed out to the players. Welcome back, Dollar. The first definition, a bar or rod for holding up a vehicle with 2 wheels, such as a bicycle when parked or not being used. The second definition, a circle made of leaves, branches, or flowers that are tied or twisted together. Kickstand is correct. That is a point for Brawny. I'm going to give Brawny his point, and I'll reread this second one. A circle made of leaves, branches, or flowers that are tied or twisted together. Wreath is correct. That is a point for Florida woman. You're at 14, currently in the lead for entering the Hall of Champions. Continuing on to another round of Blurt, where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person to tell me the correct word for either definition will get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 2 points can be handed out to the players. The first definition, one of the hard, bony parts in the mouth used to chew and bite. The second definition, someone who loves something and follows it closely. Teeth is close enough. It was tooth. Javier. 34 points. Someone who loves something and follows it closely. Addicted, obsessed. Fan would be correct. That's a point for Brawny. Whoever just subscribed to this firework is for you. Continuing on to another round of Blurt. Blurt is where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person to tell me the correct word for either definition will get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 2 points can be handed out to the players. The first definition, a long piece of hard material that is used to hold a broken bone in place or support something delicate. The second definition, a word or group of words believed to have magic power. Yes, John, fanatic? Is fan short for fanatic? Spell would be correct. Splint would be correct. Leave it to Brawny for stint. And I will give it to who the first person to say spell was. It'd be Florida woman. Give me a second. I gotta check this. Fan is generally believed to be short for fanatic. Okay. Second, let me go back. If you got it, you got it. John, you did say fanatic. However, on my screen, Brawny still said fan above you. Also, though, that's a weird one because Blurt is a little more strict than the other ones, but I probably still would have given it to you for that one. If you said it first, I would have given it to you for that one, but fan was said first. And we do like to be fair. That is a close enough one for Blurt for it to be accepted. Typically, Blurt is a little bit more strict than the other games. For example, if the word is dad, but you say father, that's not accepted. But since fan is short for fanatic, I would have accepted that. But it was not said first. So, continuing on to another round of Blurt, where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. All right, I'll show you, John. Give me a second. I will add this time to the end. Let me pop out the chat and show you. We like to be fair here. We like to be as fair as possible. We got a challenge. All right, nobody move. We got a challenge. I will show it. I do apologize because I know that the internet is always I didn't make it, and I do feel bad because the only way we can do this fair is by going off of my chat. Since I'm hosting, I get the messages first. On many people's screens, it could show you guys that you sent it first. It could show 5 people that you all sent it first on your screen if you guys sent it so close in the same amount of time, because it's easier for that message to get to your phone before it has to go across the world to get to mine. However, we do need some way to keep score, so we do have to go off of, we do have to have some system in place, and we use my screen. I do try to keep this as fair as I can. John, here's where you said fanatic. 2 above you. Here's where Brawny said fan. I'll scroll up a little bit more. Yep. Teeth is when we were on the previous one. Brawny said fan. John Comforter, then you said fanatic. I do like to be as fair as possible, and I am sorry that it doesn't always seem fair, and it does show up slightly different on your guys' screen than mine, but we just do need some way to keep it fair. All right, continuing on, I do have to add that time to the end. And I do apologize for it. I know it sucks. I wish this could be in person, but it's not. So we have to work with, that's going to be final. We do have to work with what we have. Family, fun, yes. Friendly, fun, and fair. Friendly, family, fun, friendly, and fair. Continuing on to another round of Blurt, where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person to tell me the correct word for either definition will get a point on the scoreboard. Yeah, one day I would love to do this in person, guys. I'm not even joking. John, it is not rigged. It is not rigged. It is just how the internet works. I'm sorry I didn't make it. Continuing on to another round of Blurt, where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person to tell me the correct word for either definition will get a point on the scoreboard. Up to 2 points can be handed out to the players. The first definition, a thick, spicy red sauce made with tomatoes. The second definition, a section at the end of a book that gives additional information such as charts, tables, and lists. It's not hot sauce. I can't believe this is said as spicy. Ketchup is apparently the answer. This is the dictionary. Who made the internet? He's still alive. He's in his 60s, I think. I can't remember his name, but kind of made the internet. He made HTML and www. Which HTML was the first markup language. All right, a section that at the end of a book that gives additional information such as charts, tables, and lists. It is not a glossary. It is not an index. It is not a foreword. It is not an after word, which would be the foreword. It is not an index. An index is used to, is not a table of contents that's at the front. An index is used to find specific things in a book. Glossary is used to tell you what words are. Appendix. Appendix would be correct. I'm going to see if you were the first person to say it. I believe you were, but I do have to check. Ironically, I'm writing a book on how to write books. Well, actually, I'm writing a book on how to format books, so it's a little different. That is a point for Florida woman. I am an author. My first book is right here. Continuing on, we have one more round. We're going to play one more round of Blurt. Blurt is where I read the dictionary definition for 2 words. The first person to tell me the correct word for either definition will get a point on the scoreboard. Johnny, I'm glad you love these games. Up to 2 points can be handed out to the players. The first definition, a man who works in a restaurant serving food and drink to people. Do not give me the definition for if a woman did. A man who works in a restaurant serving food and drink to people. The second definition, a piece of equipment that is used for climbing and has 2 side pieces connected by evenly spaced rungs. Waiter would be correct. Waitress would have been if it was a woman. Javier, you get the point. And ladder would be correct. Johnny, you're getting the point for ladder. Where are you, Johnny? There we go. All right, it is at that time. We are 1 hour and 59 minutes in. I did add the extra time to the clock. Otherwise, we'd end at 1:55. Announcing the former champion scores first. We have another show 1 hour from now. Luke Duke at 8. Brawny. 30. Javier. 35, Richard Green, 9, Mike Tones, 4. Now, reading the scores of everybody competing for the championship tonight. David, 6. Ken, 8. Johnny Biz, 2. Michael Biz, 1. James M, 1. And now, coming in first place with 16 points, I would like to announce the winner of tonight's show, who will be entering the Hall of Champions, Florida Woman. Congratulations, Florida Woman. Dame Lynn, you are the winner, and you will be entered into the Hall of Champions. Congratulations. You're, I believe, the 31st person to enter. Yes, Florida Woman, you are entered into the Hall of Champions. It's normally displayed down here. However, I ran out of room on there. Apparently, there's a text limit, and that sucks. Sorry about that. So once I figure that out again, I will. John Comforter, how many people are in the Hall of Fame? Give me 1 second. I'm actually going to update the Hall of Fame right now and add the newest edition. David's already on. Ken's in. Johnny, Michael, and James are in. Florida Woman, you are the 134th person in the Hall of Fame, which means you are the 134th person to earn a point on this show. And I have to add you in the Hall of Champions. I'll give you a number for that in a second. Florida Woman, you're the 134th person in the Hall of Fame, and you are the 31st person in the Hall of Champions. Congratulations. Now, next time you play, I hope to see you back. Your name will be on this board as pink. Hey, Connor, welcome back. You're just at the end of the show right now. John Comforter said you were the 12th. I can check. Who's in all 3 halls? We only have 2 people in all 3 halls. We have the Hall of Fame, where if you earn 1 point on this show, you enter the Hall of Fame. We have the Hall of Champions, where you must win a stream to enter. And then we also have the Hall of Support. The Hall of Support is anybody who's financially donated to this channel. Javier and Mike Tones and somebody who's preferred to stay anonymous is in the Hall of Support. You can donate from my Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo. It's linked in the comments. Otherwise, you can support the channel is buying my book, Beyond Solitaire, 52 Unique One-Player Card Games. It's a book I wrote on playing one-player card games with a deck or 2 of cards. I wrote it myself. And then also, if you guys like any of the games you see on this show or any of the props, there's affiliate links in the description. And you get the product at no extra charge to you. I do get a small commission. It does help support the channel as well. So there's many ways you can support: by donating, by buying my book, by buying anything on here that you like. Many ways that you guys can help support. Thank you. You'll definitely be back. Need more fun like this. Awesome, Florida Woman. I'm glad. And there is absolutely no pressure on donating. Just come and have fun. It helps me grow as well. That is another way it helps me grow. John. I'm looking for your name, John. Give me 1 second. John, you're number 23. John, you're number 23. You're not number 12. You're number 23. Hannah Oakes is number 12. You're number 23 on the Hall of Fame. Haha, you're about to buy the book. You want to see my name or your name on the Hall of Support next stream? Awesome, Bronny. Awesome. Yes, it's available on Kindle. It's also available in paperback. Bronny, I can check in 1 second. You were going to blow up. Oh, no problem. Let me see. Bronny, you want to see what number you are? Let me see. Thankfully, I have this in a Google Doc, so I can actually just like type in your name on a search. Bronny, you're number 89. I can tell anybody within a few seconds, if anybody would like to know. Yep, Hannah. She hasn't been back in a while. What website can you buy the book? Amazon. It is available on Amazon. There's also a link in the description as well. It's pinned on the comments, and it's in the description. Flora, I'll be excited to see you back. Connor, hope to see you back. We'll be doing another one about 51 minutes. I'd stay for a couple more minutes, and then I do have to get prepared. That was a close game, Richard. I agree. Sorry, guys. Sometimes I have to catch up on the comments when I do the ending announcement. I get behind on the comments a little bit. There is a fly. It's a little moth that came in from outside during the game. 89 on Hall of Fame or Hall of Champions? Well, we only have 31 in the Hall of Champions. I'll tell you both. You are 89 on the Hall of Fame. 89 on the Hall of Fame. So you're the 89th person to earn a point on the Hall of Fame, and you were... Where are you on? Man, you were the 15th person to earn a point on the Hall of Champions. Or, I'm sorry, you were the 15th person to enter the Hall of Champions. So you're the 15th person to win a stream, but you're the 89th person to enter, which is pretty cool. Some people enter soon after. Some people, it takes them many, many streams to even get a point on the Hall in top 20. First 20. All right, John, I'll see you later. How long did it take me to finish the book? I started it over a year ago. I worked on it an hour every single day for about a year. And then earlier this year, I put every single one of my projects on the side, and I just worked on the book. I worked on the book every single day, 6 to 7 days a week for about 3 months. I like to work for myself, and I do everything myself. So like I did the illustrations, the formatting, the writing. It took a lot longer because had I just written the book and handed it to a publisher, it would have taken a lot less time. But I was also the quality control and stuff. So it took me a very long time. It took me about a year of doing it a little bit every morning, and then I got tired of it not being done, and I wanted to move on to my next book, and so I'm putting everything to the side until this is done. I wanted to go through the learning curve of it being my first book, and I've got many more books lined up, so. Awesome. Thank you, Florida Woman. I've got many more books I plan on writing. 2 I'm working on right now, but I don't want to announce them because I don't know which one I'm going to end up publishing first. They actually might be published around the same time that are completely unrelated to each other. I've got a lot of hobbies, interests, and career goals, so I write books about various topics that I really want to learn about. That one was for my game career, but hey, Johnny Biz, have a good one. All right, guys, I have to end this stream because I'm supposed to be back here in 48 minutes, and I will be back in. And I always start the stream 5 minutes early, and it just says waiting, so it says I'll be starting soon. So I just set it up 5 minutes early, let a couple of regulars come in, start chatting for a little bit, and then we start playing a minute or two after I hit live. So if you guys ever see it waiting, that means I'm in a few minutes I'll be starting it. All right, guys, this has been really fun. I will be back in 48 minutes for our second stream of the night. Thank you guys so much for playing. Thank you guys for having so much fun with me. I will be back. That was an accident, but it was a good sound. It was appropriately fitting. Thank you guys.